Malheureusement, tous ces grands mots, mes gens ont poussé. Comment avec un défi comme là, tu l'as fait pour arriver là. Toi, tu as progressivement désormais de comportement d'austérité.
Allez-y, madame. Je sais que vous avez envie de chanter. Encore un. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide me. Gonna find you and make you want me. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide me. Gonna love you and make you love me. My God, ready or not, here I come. You can't hide me. Gonna find you and make you see me across my heart. I want you to be lady. Gonna love you and make you love me. You can run me for this love I got, oh baby, hey baby. You can hide from my heart, oh baby, hey baby. You can hide from my heart. I'll be there. Don't you know, baby, there, yeah, I'll be there. You know I'll be there. Oh, just call my name, and I'll be there. Don't you know, baby, there, yeah. Just on my name.